Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you the best case scenario for Joe Biden in the 2020 presidential election as of the 27th of August is time of recording this. So this is a realistic best case, so nothing like stupid is happening here. This is what I genuinely think is his best case scenario and could actually happen if everything went right for him. So for example, Texas wouldn't go to Biden because it's not realistic. So let's do this. These are all the safe states no matter what. I am just going to put South Carolina, Mississippi and Alaska in the likely column. Not competitive, but in a best case for Biden, he probably wins the popular vote by about 5 points and does very well in these states considering he's a Democrat nominee. So we'll do my classic west to east, and we shall start with Nevada. The best case is a likely scenario. I'm actually going to do all of these together. They're all Hillary Clinton states. He won them, but I'll discuss them individually. So Nevada, Colorado, New Mexico, they're all pretty similar states. The polls underestimate Democrats in Nevada. Trump was expected to win it in 2016, but didn't, because obviously Hillary did. So the polls underestimate Democrats in the state, and in a best case for Biden, he definitely picks it up. I think it will be above 5 anyway. So in a best case, probably around 7 points in favor of Biden. Colorado, New Mexico, best case, probably around 13 points in favor of Joe Biden. Not quite safe, getting close, very, very close, but not quite breaching the 15% mark to be safe. The state of Minnesota probably just breaches the safe mark. In a best case, probably gets around 5 to 6 points. I think this will be the closest out of all the Hillary Clinton states. So I think Minnesota would just breach likely, because I predict around a 3-point margin, 4-point margin, maybe even 5, but in a best case it would probably breach the likely margin. Now for Virginia, I'm predicting around a 10-point margin anyway, so a best case I'd say 12 in favour of Biden, but that still puts in the likely margin and makes it near too safe for Joe Biden. Now let's do the state of Arizona, which in a best case would go for Joe Biden by a lean margin. It wouldn't go past 1% much. It would probably be around 2% maximum. Polls have him up by like 3 or 4 points, but in a best case for Joe Biden, realistically, it's the first time the state is going to a Democrat in about since 1950s, I think, and so realistic best case, it will only go by a lean margin by about 1 to 2 points. But even then, that is a pretty substantial victory considering how Republican the state used to be and how it isn't at the moment. Now we'll do Texas. Trump still wins Texas. This is a realistic best case scenario. So Texas still goes to Trump by a tilt margin, probably around 0.8, 0.9%. The polls are splitting a bit, so Trump is gaining some leeway in Texas, which is to be expected. I expected that to happen. Texas will go to Trump this election. Biden won't win. He should try for it, but realistically, it's not going to go to him. Similar with Georgia in the best case, I think that one's tilt as well. The increased African American turnout, it still won't be enough to win the state of Georgia. I think that he should again try for it, but in a realistic best case scenario, Georgia and Texas are still going to the Republicans, but by very, very, very slim margins. And if this were to happen, I'd say 2024 lockdown Democrat states in Texas and Georgia, I'd say they'd go to the Democrat nominee, whether that's Biden again or Kamala Harris or whoever else decides to run. Next, we shall do the state of Maine. Maine at large, Maine at large, best case scenario for Biden. I think he does win it by a likely margin, not quite safe. He won it, Clinton won it by a pretty okay amount in 2016, but Joe Biden in a best case probably wins it by about 13 points. I think he will win it by about 10 anyway, so 13 points is pretty realistic. Maine 2nd District, Again, this is realistic. Trump still holds on to it by a tilt margin. He had too big an impact here, and even in the best case for Biden, he doesn't pick up Maine 2nd District. It's gone to Trump. Like, it's too much in favor of Trump for Biden to pick it up. Now, Nebraska 2nd, he wins it by a lean margin. I still don't really know much about Nebraska 2nd, but I do know in a best case for Biden, he would pick it up. And yeah. So let's go on to Iowa and Ohio. Usually you'll do those two together all the time for some reason. Trump would still hold on to them both. Iowa by lean, Ohio by tilt. Iowa, I'm predicting it'll be above above 5 points. So in the best case, it'll probably go down to about 3. Ohio, Biden was up for a while. He's not up anymore. Best case scenario, even Ohio doesn't flip in my opinion. I just think it's too out of reach. It went to Trump by a pretty substantial margin in 2016, and it's just out of reach for him. And even in the best case, he would only just edge it out in a tilt margin for the Democrats. So even then, I don't think it's worth putting in a Democrat column. I think Trump will hold on to it. I'm being generous with the tilt margin, to be honest, considering the margins in 2016. So, yeah. Now let's move on to the state of North Carolina, which he does actually pick up by a tilt margin. He won't get it if he does pick it up. The state of North Carolina, I don't think he will, but in the best case, he will pick it up. Not by a substantial amount. It would still be close. The Republican turnout would still be high in this state. He would still only just edge it out, but he would pick up the state of North Carolina. It would have to be down to increased African American turnout and just general voting. They probably win the Senate race too. That would help Joe Biden along in this state. Let's go to New Hampshire. He would win it by likely. I'm predicting it will be around 3 points anyway. If Joe Biden does really well in all categories, he definitely wins New Hampshire without a doubt. So, yeah, New Hampshire goes to Joe Biden. So, yeah. Now on to the state of Florida. In a best case, obviously Biden wins Florida, but I'm going to put this in the lean column. He's up by 5-6 in the polls, 5-6. He won't win it by that margin, but in a best case, he could definitely deal with Trump, win it by about 1.2%, maybe even higher, maybe 1.5, 1.6. Okay, and with the elderly vote turning out for him, and hopefully any moderate McCain voters there are there going out for him, I think Florida could go lean for Biden in a best case scenario. Now, Pennsylvania and Michigan, I reckon Michigan in the absolute best case goes likely. Pennsylvania goes lean. Michigan is the most democratic out of these. It's most likely to go Democratic out of these states. I think Michigan in an absolute best case definitely goes to Biden by around 5%, only just putting it in the likely margin, but it definitely could. I could see that happening. Pennsylvania, not too far behind. If Michigan got around like 5.5%, I could see Pennsylvania there with 4. It would be closer though, because the Republicans showing in Pennsylvania is better than in Michigan. But I do think that if Michigan did go likely, Pennsylvania wouldn't be too far behind, and in the best case, Wisconsin would be lean as well. However, by about 2 points, 2 to 3 points. I don't think Wisconsin will be behind Pennsylvania, guaranteed in this election if Joe Biden wins them all. But Wisconsin would definitely be close. So yeah, so Michigan in absolute best case definitely could reach the 5% mark. I'm not comfortable putting Pennsylvania or Wisconsin, especially. Wisconsin will be the furthest to the right, in my view. So yeah, that's the best case. You know what? I've just convinced myself. Ohio will go tilt Democrat as well. In an absolute best case for Biden, I guess he does pick up Ohio as well, if everything goes right for him. So this is my realistic election prediction. If I was going crazy, I'd put Georgia for Biden, Texas for Biden, maybe even Iowa for Biden, but realistically that's not going to happen. So this is my absolute best case for Joe Biden, my prediction. Tell me what you guys think about it in the comments, if you think this is realistic. Like, Do you think Biden will have this type of showing? I do think Ohio will go to Trump. I'm being very generous with that tilt margin. All these other states, though, definitely could possibly go. Um, if everything goes right for Biden, he'll definitely need to have a good showing in the debates. In particular, he'll need to have some good rallies. He'll definitely need to put a lot of money into it, which he is doing. So, yeah. Tell me what you guys think about this, and if you think I should have changed any states like Texas, Georgia, Iowa, any of them. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Please suggest anything you want me to do in the comments. Any video suggestions, any games you want me to play, anything, and I will do my best to provide that. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please consider subscribing and turning on the notifications for when my videos come out. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. Take care and goodbye.